Good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing this morning? Sunday, the day of the Ra. I want to talk about funerals, death, and family today. Simply because my great aunt actually, has just passed away on Friday. So, my family, they had her funeral today. Now, my issue is not so much, it's not that I don't have a sad feeling right now, and I don't think that my family actually understand, because my mindset is different than theirs. Today's society sees funeral and death as sadness, as something that, they don't quite understand, because the new age, modern age mind frame just don't understand how funerals and death work. To me, it's just another portal. We're moving on. Our spirit transforms to the next life, to the next world. It's out of this imprisonment, so to say. Their lesson has been taught. They've learned what they needed to learn. They've got the experience that there was needed to get. So this morning, because I didn't want to go to, this funeral in South Carolina, that's where it is. My mom got a little upset, and she ended up leaving without me and whatnot. And it's the fact that, at some point, it's no disrespect, but death to me isn't as what people think that it is. For one, wearing this all black and being sad, this is a homegoing, a time where you're supposed to be able to accept the fact that their life here is done as far as on a physical realm, and they get to move forward. A homegoing, which is what it's initially supposed to be. Back in the day, ancient days, it wasn't looked at as sadness. It was a time of happiness, a time of peace. It was sad that their body, physical frame, physical essence was leaving the family, but the fact on a spiritual essence, it just moves on and transforms to the next life. Our ancients knew that. That's the power of regenerating the spirit, the circle of life. That just is what it is. So I wanted to talk about, as far as family is concerned, a lot of family, because they're stuck in this mental turmoil or dysfunction, they don't really understand the higher concept of what life is, because of different things, slavery, the mental slavery that we're all in, is to keep us all down in this rut. Keep us depressed, keep us stressed, keeps your energies low. You can't function in the material world when your energy is on such a low vibration, right? That's the whole thing of that these powers are trying to do, is they're trying to keep you on a lower vibration. For one, it's selfish to not let your loved ones move on and have that freedom to move on to the next life, world, wherever it may be. That's selfish to me. Just like, let me see. Can't really put it into an example of words, but I do have a poem, of course, for my book, Affairs of the Heart. I always have to go to it and bring it to my topic in hand, and it is actually called Death, and I hope you guys like it. And so it says, many sob and mourn when death is first born, speculating the horror, the terrible price, the sadness, the darkness that bring forth the end of a life. Caught off guard by the shock that death has caused, becoming unforgiving to the nature of its terminal loss. Death is recognized as damnation of wrongness by most, not comprehending that our days in this lifetime is not promised or strictly enforced. We are only here for a season in or lifetime, and a lifespan has been endorsed. Seeming as though nothing but pain, heartbreak, sadness, and obscurity is all that is left, is just the energies and emotions that the mind has forced into the forefront of our emotional despair. This is nothing more than a misconception of misplaced information, which has currently been placed in the forefront of the mind's reality in question. Death is nothing but a portal leading to a future beyond the dawn of time, a world where freedom is found and life is reborn in the spiritual oneness once more. No need to be selfish, keeping the negative convictions, as though relishing within the caged idea of what is lesser rather than opening our minds to greatness. Holding on to the idea of life, which is the true circle of growth, is more than not the malevolence created by the mind in an effort of bearing the self. Why be afraid of death as though your life is your breath? Why be afraid of death as though the sleep is worthy of dread? Why be afraid of death as though reborn energy in its purest form isn't perfection at its best? Death is a doorway to new beginnings and fresh joy, joy without fear that brings forth the magnitudes of greatness that society tends to elude. Death should be welcomed rather than to be condemned, rather than to be thought of as the aberrance or a limitation to this lifespan. Death is a body, is not the end. Death of the body is not the end. Remembering the precise nature that death is just the beginning of an end, will become the sanity to your soul's perception of the grand scheme of life's things. So that is the poem called Death that I have in my book. Again, y'all can get the book on lulu.com. There it is, Affairs of the Heart. My name is Amber McLeod, but the name that I go by when it comes to my tarot readings, etc., is Yoni. I just want everybody to take a different concept, perceive things differently. Everything that is going on in the world is not as it seems. Of course, we should all know that, but most do not. So we have to keep that in mind when certain things come up, when certain loved ones are passing. Well, we can't be selfish when everything in a whole works together. All energy ciphers work together. Just because it's inevitable. People die. But to constantly bring forth that negative energy that follows behind it because we don't actually realize what reality of death is, when it's nothing but a newborn opening door to another life, another realm, another spirit where we can move on to newer things. That's a growth. This body is not our body. Just like our car is our car. We drive the car, but the car ain't us. Our body is our bodies, but these bodies are not our soul, our spirit is not us. So with that being said, I need everybody to remember that so we don't get caught up in this day-to-day rut of depression, stress. Things are just going to happen, and we have to learn to, move forward. That's what life is. So with that being said, I love everybody, and I hope everybody took a good little note from that. Ashe, love, mwah.